Mailbag time here on Falcons Today, answering questions from our live show, which airs Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We got Robert ATL54. Thoughts on trading for L'Jarius Sneed? So let's give some background on L'Jarius Sneed first. The Chiefs are franchise tagging him, and they are open to trading him if they can't reach a long-term deal and a team makes him an offer that they like. So could the Atlanta Falcons be that team? I've got some concerns. And it's not about L'Jarius Sneed's play. Like, you can look at his career stats. He has been a sensational corner for them. He was like a top 5 cornerback last season in my eyes. But what are you giving them? Giving them your first-round pick? No. You could just go draft Terrion Arnold and reset and not have to pay an exorbitant amount for L'Jarius Sneed. You giving them your second-round pick? I think the Chiefs want a first. And also, what second-rounder? You're going to trade your second-rounder for Justin Fields. So I have some issues with finding a good trade compensation for L'Jarius Sneed. But if Atlanta and Kansas City were able to work something out, on the surface, I'm definitely game. I do think that if you trade for L'Jarius Sneed, well, you're definitely going to be extending him. And that might be a sign of Atlanta not having a lot of long-term faith in A.J. Terrell. And that could be a sign of them picking a new CB1. I really doubt they trade for L'Jarius Sneed, extend him, and extend A.J. Terrell, who is entering his 5th-year option. So it may be one or the other. But would you trade for L'Jarius Sneed? Yes or no? If you can find a way to have Sneed and A.J. Terrell, I'm definitely interested. You don't really see teams pay 2 corners top 10 money, and they would both want to be top 10 highest paid corners. But if they could somehow finagle a way to get them both paid, yeah, I'm game. Soundwave 356. Would you rather take Rome Odunze or Dallas Turner? I'm going to go with Rome Odunze. I think Rome Odunze is the next DeAndre Hopkins. He's got an incredible catch radius. He's got an ability to make what was an average throw from a quarterback into an insane highlight catch. I think Rome Odunze in other years would have been the first wide receiver taken. Unlucky for him, Marvin Harrison Jr. is in this draft class. Similar to how Drake May would have been the first quarterback taken in other years. But he's got Caleb Williams. As for Dallas Turner, I like Dallas Turner a lot. I do have a little bit of concerns of like slightly undersized and the inability to anchor himself against offensive linemen. He might get pushed around a little bit, but I like Rome Odunze more as a player. Tony Williams, would you trade for Fields for 2 seconds and swap first? I don't think it costs you this much, Tony. I think what Tony is suggesting is trading a 2024 and a 2025 second-round draft pick and then swapping 8 and 9 this year. I think you can get Justin Fields for a second this year and a future conditional 4th that may become a 3rd if you extend Fields. So I wouldn't give up that much for him because I don't think you have to. ABC, do you think Ridley comes back? Is that a Seiya Suzuki icon right there? Do I think Calvin Ridley comes back? No, I don't. And here's why. Let's talk about the wide receiver market for a moment. Mike Evans is the number 1 guy, and he's going to get a big contract, maybe from the Buccaneers. If the Bucs are able to bring back Mike Evans, now we look at the next top wide receiver, and that's shaping up to be Michael Pittman based on his age relative to Calvin Ridley. And it looks like the Colts are going to franchise tag Michael Pittman. So all of a sudden, Calvin Ridley, for a lot of teams, is going to be the number 1 wide receiver. And someone's going to have to overpay him because there's going to be a slight bidding war for his services. And I don't want to see the Atlanta Falcons be a part of that bidding war. So I don't think Calvin Ridley comes back. Now, before we get on to the other questions on today's mailbag, make sure you get started with our sponsor today, which is Prize Picks, the number 1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player staff projections and watch the winnings roll in. Football's over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Now, take the NFL Combine, which we all know can be a bit dry, and let's be honest, probably a little bit boring watching guys run around in their underwear while commentators are whispering in the background. But these are the selections I made for the 40-yard dash for the wide receivers. I like the less on Troy Franklin running less than a 4.36 40. The guy is fast out of Oregon. And I like the less on a Texas wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell. And then I like the more on his teammate, Xavier Worthy. So if you like my selections, feel free to ride with me. Download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. I have put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Diego, what's going on? Is Terrion the best pick at 8? He's the best corner in the draft and would make big changes to our secondary. I like this take a lot. I love Terrion Arnold. He's got great ball skills. He had 5 interceptions last year for Alabama. He is a shutdown, lockdown corner. You pair him with A.J. Terrell, it's a great no-fly zone. I know that corner is not the top of this team's needs right now. But when you're picking top 10, there are a lot of things wrong with your team. And I don't think you can plug all those holes with just one player. So if you see a guy that is head and shoulders above another prospect, even if that need is not as big, go get the #1 player. And in my eyes, I think Terrion Arnold, when the Falcons are on the clock, will probably be the best cornerback in this draft, or the best player available in this draft. For me, my rankings will go Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze. I go back and forth, but for now, Nabers, Odunze, Terrion Arnold, and then Dallas Turner. Faye, do you think trading for Justin Fields, drafting Rome, and signing Danielle Hunter would be the best possibility for the offseason? Dude, Faye, let's get you in Flowery Branch tomorrow. That sounds like one hell of an offseason. Trade for Justin Fields, address edge rusher with Danielle Hunter, which, listen, signing a 29-year-old is not going to be the long-term fix, but he's definitely going to come in there and help turn around this Falcons pass rush, which was better last year, but it's been pitiful for a while. And then I'm always on board with drafting Rome Odunze. I don't really care what the rest of any offseason plan is. If it includes Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers at 8, sign me up. Casey's Pub, Danny Miller. Trade second-round pick for Fields. Sign Danielle Hunter. Draft best wide receiver available from Big 3. If none of them are available, look to trade back into top 15. Get top 15. Get picks back. Take best defensive lineman or CB available. All right. Trade second for Fields. Done. Sign Hunter. Done. If you can't get Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, or Marvin Harrison Jr., trade back. I don't hate that, but I am going to remind you that it takes 2 to trade. And if those guys are gone, who's calling to trade up? There's a lot of offensive linemen in this draft class. I don't know if you're going to see a team trade up to get an offensive tackle when they can stay put and take one of their own. Maybe if someone falls in love with J.J. McCarthy, they could jump to 8 so that a team like the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Broncos picking in the early teens can't get him. But it might be tough to find someone to trade with if those top 3 wide receivers are gone. Because those are 3 guys I could see someone trading up for. But if you are able to find someone, I don't hate this. Like if you go from 8 to, 15, 16, get a second-round pick back, and go get Nate Wiggins, go get Cooper DeJean, go get Terrion Arnold at that spot, yeah, that sounds like a decent plan to me. Or I love Johnny Newton out of Illinois. I think he's going to make a fantastic interior defensive lineman. Josiah Ortiz, how do you feel about drafting Nate Wiggins at 8? Nate Wiggins, he is fast. He is lengthy. Very fast. Not sure if I think that speed can do it all for him. There's always a lot of fast guys in the NFL, right? Not necessarily a direct translation of speed to great success in the NFL. So I don't think Nate Wiggins is worthy of the 8th overall pick. I like Terrion Arnold more. I might even like Cooper DeJean more. I know that there's, a unicorn in him there, but he's got great playmaking ability. So I like Nate Wiggins, but I like other cornerbacks more. NFL news and mock drafts. Trade up for Jayden Daniels, take Chris Braswell round 2. Who are you trading with? Chicago? No. Washington? No. New England? No. Is Jayden Daniels going to fall at the top 3? I don't think so. It sounds like a fun idea. Don't get me wrong. And I'm sorry to poo-poo it, but who are you trading with? It takes 2 to trade. And I don't think any of the top three teams want to move out. And I don't think the quarterbacks escape the top 3. As for Chris Braswell, round 2, if you go Rome Odunze and you still have your second-round pick somehow, or the Jags re-sign Calvin Ridley, I don't hate that idea. No, I can get on board with that. Ethan Greer, JF1 for a conditional second round next year. 1 if you play 70% of snaps, and if it's extended, it's a first next year. I'd rather give up draft picks for this year and try to hold on to 2025 draft picks. The reason being is, if you give up draft picks for next year and things don't go well with Fields this year, you're kind of behind the 8 ball on trying to kickstart a quarterback replacement search. You don't have as many picks as you would have. And if things do go well with Fields this year, man, you go into the final year of his rookie contract and you still have all of your picks to use to invest in him to make him successful, to get him a new wide receiver or a new whatever he wants at that point. You know what I mean? I'd rather give up this year's second than a conditional second next year that could become a first. DJD757, what's the difference between Fields and Ridder? The short answer, Justin Fields is a much better playmaker. He's got much better running abilities to his game. He is more accurate and has higher velocity on his downfield passes. Taylor Elwell, saving money by not going out to lunch today to support the channel. Everyone salute Taylor in the chat right now. Would you grab MVS or Xavien Howard? Pass on MVS, yes on Xavien Howard for cheap. I think you could look into the veteran CB market to find a new starting corner if you don't feel like Clark Phillips is ready for that starting role just yet. If you are ready for that, then you could draft a corner and have the 2 of them duke it out for the starting job. But I think Xavien Howard could still play at a high level or at a starting level. I think the Miami Dolphins moved on because of just purely the cap hit. That one Falcons fan. Here's a mock draft. Here's a mock trade assuming we don't get Fields, all right? Chicago receives the 8th, the 43rd, next year's 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and A.J. Terrell. Atlanta receives the first-round pick and drafts Caleb Williams. That one Falcons fan, I think this is a fair trade compensation to offer. It's not very far off from what the Panthers made last year, and that was from 9-1. This is from 8-1. The issue is, I don't think Chicago wants to move on from the first overall pick. All signs in the Windy City point to them taking Caleb Williams. So yeah, you can call. You can make them one hell of an offer, but I don't think they're going to accept it. I think they are ready to go get a new quarterback. Eric Noah, how real is the Justin Fields chatter? It's real. Like, we have a report from NBC Sports Chicago saying that Atlanta has touched bases with Chicago about trading for Justin Fields. When there's smoke, there's sometimes fire. Not always in the NFL. This time, I think the smoke is very real, and there's a fire coming. Marlon, what's up, fam? JF1, let's get him. Let me know down below in the comment section. Do you want to trade for Justin Fields? Yes or no, to wrap up this mailbag. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to sign off and see you all later.